What's going on, friends? I'm gonna replay one song, and then we're gonna start this thing. We're gonna light this candle. What's up, Darth Nick? What's up, Nick? Good to see you, man. What's up, Cole? Biggest nerd alive, Evan Shade. I wasn't calling you the biggest nerd alive, Cole. There's a guy named Biggest Nerd Alive here. Evan Shade, James Music, and Horror Corner. Is that a band name? That's kind of cool. Hubba Bubba. I Hate Corpse Husband. What's Corpse Husband? IYBL Cinema Madness? Alright. Let's play this song. When this song is over, we're going to kickstart this thing. We're going to play some Battlefront, because it's been a long time since I played Battlefront on a stream. What's up, Celador? Alright, guys. Oh, hi there, Samuel. Hope you're doing swell, my friend. I'll see you guys in 2 minutes. Oh, God, I was just cycling through pictures, and I thought I had to hit apply for them to change in the background. Apparently I don't, so I didn't mean to change those pictures. But there I am. Anyway. Whatever, let's start this thing. Yeah, screech on the vinyl. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the stream. We're going to talk about everything the new flutist We can talk about Andor. Hell yeah, man. Let me know if my microphone is a little too loud. I changed up some settings today, but I think it's back to where it was. It's always nerve-wracking to mess with my desk mixer because I find like a sweet spot of where it sounds perfect, you know, and then I mess with it or accidentally mess with it, and then it all of a sudden I have to find that sweet spot again. So let me know if it's too loud. Let me know if it's too quiet. Also, let me know if the game's too loud, because I haven't streamed Battlefront in a long time, and I have no idea if I still have the correct like audio levels for the game for my streaming software. But anyway, welcome guys. How's everybody been? What kind of vinyls do you talk about, James? That's pretty cool. I don't collect them, but I do have a few of my favorite records. The one that I have on display right now, there's actually a picture of it that I posted on Twitter like literally 5 minutes ago, is an Owen album, which is Ghost Town. Don't know if you're familiar. I don't know what kind of stuff you listen to or what you talk about, but yeah, that's cool, man. Recently, if you look at that picture on Twitter that I posted literally 5 minutes ago announcing this stream, you'll see that I have like a little display where I can easily swap out records on my wall. And let's get it. Oh, hell yeah, this feels good playing some Battlefront, man. I can easily swap out records and, display something else when I get tired of the current one that I'm displaying. And I recently changed up. I had an Algernon Codwaddler album up there for like a month, and now I have an Owen album, and maybe next time I'll have an American football album, or maybe a Ryan Adams album, or maybe a Bright Eyes album, or maybe, I don't know. Hell, we could change it up and go George Carlin. We could I have a George Carlin vinyl that my dad gave me years ago. You know, never know. Never know. Anyway. Swishfish, thank you so much for the first super chat and channel support of this little Battlefront stream that we're doing here, man. Swish says, hey, one sec. Hey, Greedo, can't stay school stuff, but I have to say I've gotten back into Galaxy of Heroes. Not everyone's cup of tea, but I'm having fun. You know, I have never tried Galaxy of Heroes. That's the mobile game, right, Swish? I've never tried that. I know that there's a few YouTubers that there's one, I can't remember the exact, Cubs fan, or I can't remember exactly what his username is. He streams it occasionally, or used to at least. And then there's another guy that I don't remember the name of, but I've watched him briefly a few times. His background, he's always like dressed up as an Imperial officer, and his like production quality is always fantastic. And he always has thousands of people watching him. And you guys, some of you guys are probably going to be very familiar with him. But I can't remember what his name is. And it's always surprising to me because I don't play any mobile games. Like, I haven't had a mobile game on my phone. I don't even, honestly, I don't even know when. I don't even know when. It's been years. Years. Since I've played or even installed a game on my phone. And if I ever do, it's going to be like a euchre game. Probably none of you guys are familiar with euchre, I'm sure. It's a game, it's a card, oh nice. It's a card game that I feel like only people from Ohio and Michigan know about. But Galaxy of Heroes isn't for everybody, but if you like strategic games, then I'd give it a shot. Dylan Hansen. Okay, yeah, like I said, man, I'm not much of a mobile gamer. If I'm, yeah, some guys at my fire station are always playing games on their phone. I don't know why I've never gotten into it. Never gotten into it. Rebel forces at half capacity. Maybe I'll download it tonight. Whatever. Maybe I'll install it tonight. Give it a shot. See what it's all about. Oh, honestly, Stuart, what's up, man? Honestly, Stuart, Angry Birds might be like one of the last games that I installed on my phone. When they did that Angry Birds Star Wars game years ago, honestly, I think that's the last That's the last mobile game I've ever played. Yeah. You're familiar with euchre, Cole? Oh, you just put warm feelings in my heart, my friend. Euchre is a game that me and my family, my immediate family, my extended family, from my parents to my aunts and uncles to my grandparents, my cousins, we all play euchre. And it's been like a game in the family for 50 years. We get together on big family reunions. We have euchre tournaments. My 92-year-old grandma gets in the mix and she kicks everyone's ass. It's such a fun game. I love it. I love fast-paced. Don't have to think too hard. It's so much fun. I love it. I really love it. Where did that come from? Right there. He's gonna go get him. He's gonna go get him. Nice. J Emerald, is that his name? Emerald? Nice. All the fishing guides play card game. Oh, nice, I'm dead. No, I'm not. All the fishing guides play cards every night in the summer during the guide season. Oh, nice, yeah. You know, honestly, like, euchre is one of the only card games that I really know how to play. I don't really play, I don't know how to play spades. I don't know how to play poker. I was about to say something that would give me away, or give my family away. My grandpa's a big poker player. Yeah, I don't even know how to play poker, man. I don't know how to play. I'm trying to think of a card game. Oh, War? I know how to play War and Yahtzee. Oh, is Yahtzee a card game? No. Uno? I know how to play Uno. I could play Uno. But yeah, euchre's about it, man. Which Carlin album do I have? I think it's Class Clown, which wouldn't be my first choice, but it was given. My dad gave it to me years ago because he had it when he was a kid. When he, you know, whenever that album came out. I think, yeah. I don't know how to play rummy either. Pasta Water, what's up, Pasta Water? Pasta Water says, well, first of all, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support, man. I greatly appreciate that. Pasta says, per your last community post, I asked my wife if she could get me your book for Christmas. Hopefully she comes through. Cheers. Nice, man. Well, thank you so much for the support on multiple fronts tonight. I really appreciate that. Yeah, the book, you know, I hope you enjoy it. I hope you get something out of it. It was fun to write. I wrote it over a period of, I think, 2 years, or a year, maybe 2 years. Actually, maybe 3 years. It's all over the place. It reminds me a lot of my live streams, because these live streams, you know, they rarely stay on topic. We always just shoot the shit about all sorts of random topics. The book is very similar. The first chapter is basically an introduction to me, my growing up, you know, why I got into Star Wars, yada, yada, yada. Then I go into, you know, my experience in the Navy and being a dad and video games and all sorts of stuff. So, yeah, hopefully you like it. If you don't get a kick out of it, then, I think the cover art is at least kind of cool to look at. Well, hey, look at that Nightbox. I didn't prompt that. Nightbox automatically is timed to put a little message in there, and it chose to put a little message about sorry about the mess tonight. Oh, I thought I was gonna get 3 kills right there in a row. But dude, Pasta, thank you so much, man. And yeah, when you get it, take a picture of it and let me know what you think. Cheers. 6 Foot Piss Radius, good to see you, man. 6 Foot says, let's see. My thermometer broke earlier today and this weird liquid came out of it. I have no idea what it is, but it tastes amazing. Oh, goodness. I wonder what it tastes like. Is your tongue numb? Do you have numb tongue? What is that from? What's What's Numb Tongue? What's Numb Tongue from? Oh, Star Trek. Right? The 2009 Star Trek?
They're out of troops, out of time.
Yeah, Doug. I was in the Navy. Just 4 years. From 2007 to 2011. So it's been a long time since I got out. I'm a firefighter now. It's a felt like a good fit. And it is. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Anyway, 6 foot. Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Toss it in the refrigerator. I heard it's way better refrigerated. Where? Oh, let's get him. Gotcha, punk. That felt cheap. Got him in the back. Grenade out. Woo! You should have ran further, GG Clipper. Well, my team dominated. And we have 4 people. They have 5. Gotcha. Look at that. Doing good for the first time playing this in a long time. Also, I can't take credit. My team seems really good. Let's see. Where are you at, punk? Where are you at, punk? Jedi Survivor. Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. The game that I'm most excited for, though, is Eclipse. It just seems like such... It seems like such a new and unique thing in the world of Star Wars gaming. I'm so excited to see what it's all about, how it's going to play. That's what it's called, right? Eclipse? There we go. Boom. K. Rudy asks, which of the upcoming Star Wars projects are you least excited for? Well, Rudy, it's funny because before Andor came out, I would have said, I'm not that excited for Andor because, whatever. I didn't really care for Rogue One that much, blah, blah, blah. But Andor is one of my favorite Star Wars things ever. I think it's light years better than, light years better than the other shows that we've gotten. Andor is right up my alley. Those who have been following me for a long time, I've heard this a lot, have said that it seems like it's tailor-made for HelloGreedo. And I tend to agree. I love that show so much. And it's funny because it's a show that I wasn't excited for really at all. I was going to watch it, but I wasn't really excited for it. And I love it. I love it. So, I don't know. What's the project that I'm least excited for? Honestly, man, it's probably Ahsoka. Like, the idea of continuously making shows and watching new things about characters that we are already familiar with honestly doesn't really do much for me. So the project that I'm most excited for is The Acolyte, because it's the one that offers up the most mystery to me. Like, what is it going to be? It's the only show on the ticket that doesn't have a character's name in the title. You know what I mean? Andor, Kenobi, Boba Fett, Lando. They're making a Lando show, I think, still. What else? Ahsoka. That's 5 right there. All the characters' name. And then you have The Acolyte. And then you have Skeleton Crew, which I'm also very excited for. So, yeah, the 2 that I'm most excited for, Skeleton Crew and The Acolyte, But I don't know. Darth Nicholas, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support as well. And A3, right? Same thing to you. A3, thank you both for the channel support. That guy just jumped to his death. Darth Nicholas says, let me see, where was that? Where Nick says, don't know if it's just me, but Rian Johnson's Star Wars trilogy, if it ever becomes reality, excites me way more than Mando Season 3 and Ahsoka. The idea of such a trilogy has excited me since 2017. Yeah, I'm 100% with you. I really... Oh, one sec.
Like you and others, but I greatly enjoyed Andor. The best SW show so far. I lean more towards the mystical part of SW.
Oh, yikes.
Though, so I'm definitely excited for Acolyte and Ahsoka.
A3, thank you so much. Give me one sec. Yeah, I'm right there with you, Nick. The idea of a Rian Johnson trilogy where he kind of writes from the ground up, has no attachment to any other characters. He gets to do his own thing, have ultimate creative freedom, maybe breathe some fresh and new ideas into the world of Star Wars film. I think he would do a fantastic job, and I would love to see a full Rian Johnson trilogy where he has that freedom. You know what I mean? Whoa, yikes. I really hope it does come to fruition. Everybody has always said, whether it be Kathleen Kennedy or Rian Johnson himself, that it's still happening. It's just a matter of scheduling and whatnot. Which, you know, if they're saying that, that means that it's not off the table. It means that it's still in the pipeline, you know? So all we can do is really hope. I saw that, I don't know if you guys listened to the Smartless podcast. It has, what are their names? Sean Hayes? Will Arnett and Jason... why can't I think of their names right now? I listen to it all the time. Jason Bateman. And Rian Johnson was just on their podcast. It's a really funny podcast. And he was on their podcast, the most recent episode. I have not listened to it yet. I'm going to start it tomorrow morning during my commute. I'm excited to give it a listen, though. Anyway, Nick, thank you so much for the channel support. Not only tonight, but over the past couple months, man. I really appreciate it. And A3, thank you so much as well. A3 says, I'm not over the moon like you and others, but I greatly enjoyed Andor. The best Star Wars show so far. I lean more towards the mystical part of Star Wars, though, so I'm definitely excited for the Acolyte and Ahsoka. Yeah, that's what's fun about a lot of this Star Wars stuff, man. We all like different aspects of it. I tend to gravitate a little more towards the I don't even know what to call it. The more sci-fi elements of Star Wars, reminiscent of what we see in Andor. You know, I enjoy the mystical stuff. I enjoy all that as well. But my love is, you know, rebels and blasters and the Empire and X-wings and that aspect. I do love the Jedi stuff, but when it goes to the point of like Mystery of Mordor, or Mystery of, what is it called? It was a Clone Wars thing, not Mordor. What was that called? Mortis, right? Mortis? It gets a little out of control for me, and it kind of leaves me behind a little bit, and man, I was on such a great team. We were doing so good last game. Now we're getting dominated. They also have twice as many players as us, so that's probably why. But yeah, I have a buddy who, A3, my buddy and I have texted so much about Andor back and forth. We tend to really agree on most movies. This is the same guy who I went and saw Revenge of the Sith with at midnight. If you have my book, you've seen a picture of me and him right before we went to the midnight premiere. And This guy, me and him see eye to eye on most things when it comes to movies and shows. And he has just fallen in love with that show. He has texted me swooning about that show so many times since it debuted. And I have done the same thing to him. And yeah, man. We all like different aspects of the wars, right? And that's what kind of makes it beautiful. And that's why there's so much room for different types of stories to be told. Different settings to explore, different tones to explore, different characters to explore. Not everything needs to be the same, right? So we can have something like Andor, and then we can have something like, you know, like Ahsoka. That's what's beautiful about it. Oh, am I dead? Nope, I'm not dead. Whoa, I just got 3-player kills right there with thermal detonator. Oops. Didn't mean to change third person. Don't like third person. Don't like third person. Don't want to play third person. I want to be a grunt on the field, running around. Alright. It's a little more even now. 4 on 5. Oh, they're up here. Whoa! That caught me by surprise. Oh! Yikes, I was reading the chat, but it still didn't kill me. Here we go. Oh, whenever I see those guys, I just know I'm dead, unless I have backup. Ooh, I got lots of backup. Come on, thermal detonator. Ah, bummer. They came from behind. Caretaker wanted. Sorry, guys. Sometimes the sound effects of the game drowned out the sound effects of the super chat there. I apologize. Yikes. Caretaker says, Andor gives me hope for more compelling Star Wars stories. Me as well. Me as well. When we get a heavy drama like Andor in the world of Star Wars storytelling, when we get something that feels like, you know, House of Cards, certain elements of Game of Thrones, The Crown even, when we have, you know, a Star Wars show that is so heavy on the drama, such as Andor, then the possibilities, to me, are endless. I see that they're willing to do something like this, like Andor, and I just think to myself, what else do they have the willingness? What other stories, what other tones do they have the willingness to explore? You know, it shows that the creative juices are still flowing heavily, and we don't have to have everything feel the same. You know, I love Dave Filoni and I love Favreau, but so much of their content, so much of their shows, their storytelling feels so similar to so much of their other storytelling and shows. And at a certain point, it gets a little, I don't know, monotonous, and it feels like we're mulching over the same shit, you know? As much as I do enjoy it, something like Andor just comes as a breath of fresh air. And I really hope future Star Wars projects, you know, start to feel like that as well. I don't want to mulch over the same shit. I don't really care about shows featuring characters that we're hyper familiar with, you know. The idea of like a Grievous show or a Darth Vader movie bores the shit out of me. Not to say that it would be bad, but it's just the general concept of further seeing a character that we're already so hyper familiar with, it's just boring. It's done. It's done. I mean, it's like been done, you know? So, but that's just me. I find myself in the minority opinion quite often when it comes to the Star Wars fandom, which is fine, you know? Oh, ouch. How did that guy know I was coming? Oh, man. I'm at the top of the leaderboard? That means we're not doing too good. A3, thank you so much for the channel support as well. A3 says, yeah, Mortis was interesting, but a bit much for me. What Ryan did in TLJ was more my mystical speed with the talk of balance, Yoda's wisdom, etc. I am 100% in agreement with you there, A3. 100% in agreement with you. You know, I've always said that when I think of the Force, when I think of the mysticism in Star Wars, I think of The Empire Strikes Back. I think of Yoda in The Empire Strikes Back. The lessons, the calmness, the tranquility. That's what I like about it, you know. When it starts to get into the realm of like superpowers and like shooting lightning into the sky, in Mortis, it kind of leaves me behind a little bit. I like my Force to be subtle and subdued. I like my Force to feel like 1970s hash head mysticism, you know. That's what I like my Force to feel like. And I think Rian Johnson kind of continued that Empire Strikes Back feel of the Force, which I love so much. Way better than most other Star Wars projects have, you know. But yeah, cheers, man. I 100% agree with you there. One sec. Let's try to flank him. Flanking. Oh. Sometimes there's mystery. Sometimes it's better to leave things a little bit more towards for the imagination. You know. Not everything needs to be spelled out. Sometimes, especially with something like the Force, I think it's important to kind of leave mystery there. It's an energy field. Binds everything together. And that's all I really need to know. Everything beyond that, man, that guy just keeps dominating me. When you kind of get into things like Mortis, I keep bringing that up as an example, but it's a good one. Kind of leaves me behind a little bit. You're kind of throwing away the mystery for something that, to me, feels a little. I don't know. I don't know. Oh no! I almost jumped to my death because I looked over at the chat. Oh, one sec.
Watching your video about Battlefront 2 has really got me feeling the same type of way. Game made a huge comeback only to be put down almost right away. Think we'll ever get another Battlefront game?
The Pinkman. And A3 and the Pinkman, thank you both so much for the channel support. I greatly appreciate that. Give me one sec, guys. Let me help my team for once. Oh. Ah. Now I'm just getting dominated. A3 says, does Ahsoka automatically lose points with you because it's not the new, or do you try to go into everything with an open mind? No, I definitely do try to go into everything with an open mind. And one of the best examples of that is, like when it was announced that Palpatine was going to be back in The Rise of Skywalker. You know, my gut instinct was, oh, this is such a boring, stupid idea. But, you know, I'm going to give it a chance. I'm going to, you know, go into this thing with an open mind, as you said, and maybe it'll be tastefully done, right? Literally in one of my videos before The Rise of Skywalker, in one of my videos before we saw that movie, I said, I'm sure they're going to tastefully do it. Maybe he'll be, have a relatively small role. Maybe it'll be tastefully done. I can't imagine he's going to be shooting lightning everywhere. And guess what he does? He shoots lightning into the fucking universe. It was literally the exact opposite of what I was thinking they were going to do and what I was hoping they were going to do. Yeah. So I do go into every project with an open mind, despite maybe little iffy feelings about the project concept as a whole. I love the character of Ahsoka, but I just like I love the character of Darth Vader or Han Solo and stuff like that. But the idea of making shows and movies about these characters that we're so hyper familiar with doesn't really do much for me. The general concept. Just because we've seen them before. The amount of untold stories and unknown characters that are possible in this world, in this universe, are limitless. And to continuously kind of fall back on and rehash characters that we already know, it's just at a certain point it just starts to get really boring to me. I want new, But no, A3, I do go into... Oh, man, that guy. That son of a bitch. Every time. ANC 9496. Every time. Yeah, anyway. I appreciate that, A3. The Pinkman, thank you so much for the super generous super chat and channel support there, man. The Pinkman says, good evening, Greedo. And I'm dead. Good evening, Greedo. After watching your video about Battlefront 2... it's really got me feeling the same type of way. The game made a huge comeback only to be put down almost right away. Do you think we'll ever get another Battlefront game? Yeah, so... Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw my most recent video. I didn't spell out what that video was going to be about in the title or the thumbnail. You had to click it to kind of find out what it was about. But basically I said I'm bummed out that Battlefront didn't continue because we got so much Star Wars content in the world of, TV, streaming stuff. We had Book of Boba Fett, we had Kenobi, we had Andor, Mandalorian, and they could have continued that game and given us content from those shows, which would have been amazing. And it kind of got me feeling a little bummed out that we don't have that to play right now. The game, as you said, Pinkman, the game had a huge comeback, and I think most people would consider it a pretty big success and a pretty good game these days. They added a ton of prequel era stuff, new characters, maps, and modes. Kind of appealed to the fan base that the side of the fan base that maybe felt a little left out because so much of the first game, the Battlefront 2015 game was so heavy on. It was only the original trilogy, and so they did good. They did a good job over time, giving us appealing to different facets of the fandom, right? But it does bum me out that it was kind of shelved. I understand that nothing gold can stay. It's not always. Games that we love and stuff like that aren't forever going to be added on to. That's just not realistic. But there was so much possibility, so much promise, so much potential content there from new Star Wars projects that I can't help but be a little bummed out that we never got that, And do I think we'll ever get another Battlefront game, Pinkman? There's an FPS coming out, right? There's that arena shooter coming out. I will say that I think, I'm not privy to any information at the moment. I'm an EA game changer, but I don't know anything right now. I wouldn't tell you if I did, but I don't. But I would say that in my gut, I would say eventually we probably will. I don't know what more they could do. I mean, look, Battlefront 2015 came out in 2015, and then 2 years later, we got Battlefront 2. That's a short amount of time. Back-to-back games, basically, right? Hopefully, I mean, maybe they'll take a 10-year break. I'd be down for that. You know, a whole new generation of console. A whole new play style, maybe. Who knows? Maybe VR. I don't know. But I would say that eventually in the future, the distant future, I would say yes. Eventually we will. Now, don't hold your breath that something's going to come out anytime soon or that we're going to get an announcement. But I would like to think that, yes, eventually we will. And that being said, I hope the next one has a little more freedom, a little more customizability. I hope it allows for players to make their own maps and host their own servers and put a little personal spin on the game. You know, ideally, that's very ideal to me because as you heard in my video, I spent like 5 or 6 years making my own Counter-Strike maps and hosting my own Counter-Strike servers. And I created like a community within the larger Counter-Strike community. And it was an amazing experience. Why am I going down this dead-end hall? Why am I going down here? There we go. Why is this guy following me? Why did he put that turret there at a dead-end hall? I guess he was just following me. Oh, it's 2-on-2.
Whenever someone
Oh, one
asks
sec.
for a Darth Vader movie or series, I like to say there are already a ton of Vader comics that fill in the gaps between the events of the movies, so there wouldn't be a whole lot to work with.
Darth Nicholas, thank you so much once again for the generous super chat and channel support, man. Give me one sec. But yeah, Pinkman, as you heard in my video, I made Counter-Strike maps, and it was such a unique and fun experience, and I miss it. I made so many maps, and they were good. Like, I didn't just release bullshit. I really took my time and made them unique, and I played them with my friends to polish them up and see where choke points would be, and et cetera, et cetera. And I would love to have the opportunity.
I want a new Star Wars MMO that's playable on PC and console, much like DC Universe Online, and of course VR too, but not so MMO rinse repeat. Also, I want a bottle-style game Star Wars game.
Arlen, thank you so much as well for the super chat and channel support. Give me one sec, man. But yeah, anyway, Pinkman, I appreciate that. And yeah, don't hold your breath for anything new in the near future. But hopefully, 10 years from now, hopefully we'll get one. We'll see. We'll see. Where are the bad guys? Where are those damn rebels? Where are they? It's only 2-on-2. I'm confused. Darth Nicholas and Arlen, thank you so much. Nick says, whenever someone asks for a Darth Vader movie or series, I like to say there are already a ton of Vader comics that fill in the gaps between the events of the movies, so there wouldn't be a whole lot to work with. Yeah, that's true. There's so many Vader comics. I have a few. I started reading Dark Lord of the Sith, and it was really good. But for whatever reason, I didn't continue with it. I thoroughly enjoyed it, what I did read. But yeah, you're right. You're right. And, so I said earlier that the idea of, like, whenever somebody brings up they want a Darth Vader movie or any, like, a Grievous movie or anything like that, I'm like, we've already had those characters. Like, what? Don't you want something new? I want something new. I want new stuff. That's what interests me. That's what interests me. Oh, I don't know if I knew you could fall down there. Yeah, I would highly recommend checking out that Dark Lord of the Sith series, the comic series. It's really good. And that feeling even extends to fan films, Nick, for me. Like, whenever there's a Boba Fett fan film or a Darth Vader fan film or something like that, I understand that we have passions for these characters, and some people want to play in that sandbox and play and manipulate those characters heavily, and I get it. I completely get it. It would be fun to put on a Boba Fett costume and make a movie, you know, a little short fan film. But I don't really have much of a desire to watch that. I like the fan films that create new characters and don't try to do things that we've seen before. That's why my favorite Star Wars well, I have two favorite Star Wars fan films. One is called Days Past. Jot that down in your notebook. Days Past is very dramatic. It's like 15 minutes long. It's got no familiar characters in it. It's just like, it's two acquaintances, two people that used to work together, come in contact with one another. And I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's all dialogue, and it's great. It's great. I love it. It's fantastic. And in the realm of like Star Wars fan films, it's such a breath of fresh air, because most Star Wars fan films, I feel, and look, I've never made one, so who the fuck am I to talk, right? But a lot of Star Wars fan films just kind of feel like, I don't know, lightsaber effects tests, right? Or lightning tests. Stuff like that. Days Past is just all dialogue. It's all character drama, and that's what I'm looking for. Another one of my favorite fan films is Jakku First Wave. Jakku First Wave is like really short. I think it's only like 3 minutes long. Now it's 2-on-1. That's a bummer. Yeah, Jakku First Wave is only like 3 minutes long. But again, it's another character drama. It's very short, again. There's no action. It's literally 3 minutes of stormtroopers that are about to go into battle on like a drop ship, and they're just talking. And I highly recommend. Yeah, so Days Past and Jakku First Wave. If you guys haven't seen those, check them out. But anyway, Nick, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, the Vader comics are fun. Definitely recommend. Let's see if we get him. It's not fair because it's 2-on-1. Did he already get him? He must have got him. And Arlen, thank you so much for the channel support as well. Arlen says, fanboy wishes. Let me take a sip real quick. Arlen says, fanboy wishes, I want a new Star Wars MMO that's playable on PC and console, much like DC Universe Online, and of course VR too, but not so much MMO rinse repeat. Also, I want a Breath of the Wild style Star Wars game. Dude, I would love a new Star Wars MMO. As you said, that you know, all right, let me sit up a little bit for this discussion. Arlen, you said rinse and repeat MMO, right? And when you say that, as somebody who has played, I don't need hundreds, literally hundreds of MMOs over the years. My first MMO was Ultima Online. I started playing that in like 1997, 1998, and I still play it from time to time. I love it. It's my favorite MMO of all time. So I've literally played hundreds of MMOs. So many of them feel so similar to so many others of them. So many MMOs feel like they need to be World of Warcraft clones, you know. Which is boring to me. That World of Warcraft, for whatever reason, has always been a little boring to me, because it's the chasing of the loot. And I don't get a kick out of that. Like, everybody ends up getting the same purple dagger, and then you hit level 30, and that purple dagger is shit. Now you got to chase. It's a carrot on a stick, and I don't care about that stuff, and it is boring to me. So, a new Star Wars MMO, I would want to be very similar to like an Ultima Online or a Star Wars Galaxies. Something that gives you like ultimate freedom to be and do whatever you want to do. I don't know if you're familiar with Star Wars Galaxies, Arlen, but Galaxies was... I've made a lot of videos about Galaxies over the years. I've talked about it a lot. It was an MMO that came out in 2003. I went to... me and my buddy, who started playing Ultima Online with me back in the day, But me and my buddy were so excited for Star Wars Galaxies, we went to Walmart at midnight, the morning that it was supposed to release, and we got a copy at midnight. We asked the guy, like, we went to the shelves. It wasn't out on the shelves yet. We talked to one of the stockers. He went to the back and actually got us a copy of it, and we went home and installed it. And I was instantly hooked. The world is so alive. The freedom that game gave you was just unmatched. You know, you didn't just have to be a Jedi or a bounty hunter or whatever. You could be anything. You could be an architect. You could be an image designer, like a cosmetic surgeon. You could be a mayor of a town. You could own your own home and furnish it. You could build your own home. You could be a doctor. I was a doctor in the Star Wars universe. And that's what appeals to me about like a Star Wars MMO, is that freedom. You know, I don't just want combat. I want a living, breathing Star Wars world to explore. And that's why Star Wars Galaxies is I mean, that and Ultima Online are my two favorite MMOs of all time. Because of that freedom, you know. So for me, like, so when I played Star Wars Galaxies heavily, I was a doctor. I maxed out all my doctor skills, and what I would do is, because the combat never really appealed to me, so I became like I had a profession that would, I don't know, I enjoyed the economy of the game and using the game as kind of like a chat room and all that stuff. But so I was a doctor, and what I would do, I would go to the Mos Eisley Cantina. I would sit in the spaceport. I would sit right next to where you could buy a ticket to go off-world. And I would have a macro over my head that would say, you know, 15,000 credits for a full stat buff, blah, blah, blah. Because doctors could boost stats. They could give you a buff, like an hour-long buff or whatever it was. And then your stats, if you had like 100 health, it would be like 150 health or whatever. I can't remember the numbers, but so that's what I enjoyed doing. And I would sit in the spaceport, and I would literally have like a line of 20 people in front of me waiting their turn for me to buff them. They would give me the credits. I would buff them. They would go out on their adventure. I maybe that sounds boring to a lot of you guys, but I loved it because I was playing in the Star Wars world. I was participating in the Star Wars economy and just living this life in this universe. The day-to-day stuff in the Star Wars universe is kind of cool, right? To me, at least. I'm just gonna switch over to Lightspeed Lounge here and put the game on hold. I only have a few minutes left. That's why I loved that game. You know, that freedom, and it was just it was amazing. So yeah, if there was ever another Star Wars MMO that was coming out, I would want it to have that freedom. But unfortunately, you know, I think the days of those types of MMOs, at least large scale, is kind of dead. You know. I hate to say that, but I do think, you know, I'm sure if we got a new Star Wars MMO, what happened to the music? Can you guys still hear me? Can you guys still hear me? I can't hear anything. Did I unplug my... Oh, yikes. Hold on. There we go. There we go. Now the music's working. Yeah, I think that I accidentally unplugged my headset. I think the days of those types of MMOs are kind of dead, unfortunately, large scale. And if we got another Star Wars MMO, it'd probably be very similar to a World of Warcraft or an Old Republic. Old Republic's fun, but it's not really what I'm looking for in my MMO, you know. But yeah. The 20-year anniversary of Star Wars Galaxies is coming next year. I can't believe that. I can't believe that. It's just wild to me. I don't. What month would that have been? Star Wars Galaxies. June 25th. God, I have great memories of that game. Great memories of that game. So much fun. Anyway, cheers, Arlen. I didn't mean to go down a little nostalgia trip there, but whenever Star Wars and MMO get put in the same post or sentence, I can't help myself but talk about Galaxies. But yeah, cheers, man. Matthew Kelly and Darth Nicholas, thank you guys for coming in with the final super chat and channel support of the stream. I greatly appreciate that. Matthew says, "What if I don't know how to pronounce his name, honestly. Hideo Kojima? Did I say that correctly? Probably not, because I'm a big dumb idiot. What if Hideo Kojima worked on a Star Wars game?" I know the name. Let me do a quick Google. I don't really know too much about. Let's see. Oh, Metal Gear. Oh, Death Stranding. Death Stranding was on Game Pass recently. I wanted to install that. Yeah, that would be great. Matt, I would love anyone to have the ability to make future Star Wars games. I've played a couple Metal Gear Solids. Actually, I've only played one, the very first one, and Phantom Pain. I didn't play much of Phantom Pain, but I have fond memories of playing the very first Metal Gear Solid with my buddy. My buddy had a PlayStation. I think that's what we played it on. And when it first came out, we played it extensively. I can still hear the like the alert sound effect when somebody spots you. But yeah, something like that would be really fun. Stealth elements, if you want to throw in some Metal Gear in there, you could be like a hired gun, or like a rebel spy, something like that. You know, would be a lot of fun. And yeah, that would be great. If it was in the realm of, I haven't played Death Stranding, but if it was in the realm of Metal Gear Solid, gameplay wise, you know, you could sneak around and sabotage Imperial equipment and all that stuff. I would love that. I would absolutely love that. Who knows if that's ever going to happen, but now that you know, EA no longer has the exclusivity rights to the Star Wars franchise to make video games. So with them not having exclusivity, the possibilities of different types of Star Wars games, both quality and quantity, it's kind of endless. You know, different studios could get their hands into the mix and make very different types of Star Wars games that we've never seen before, you know. And I think for the health of Star Wars video gaming, that removal of exclusivity, I think it was a contract ran out or something like that, is very healthy for the future of Star Wars and video games, you know. But cheers, man. Yeah, I would love that. Hell yeah. And Darth Nicholas, thank you so much for coming in with a final super chat and channel support. Nick says, would you be on board with a GTA and Red Dead Redemption style Star Wars game? Oh man, that is my dream Star Wars game. Red Dead Redemption, if we had a Skyrim, Fallout, Red Dead Redemption style RPG set in the Star Wars universe, I don't know if I'd be able to put that down. I would love that so much, man. If you had the ability to kind of, you know, I would love a game like that offers so much freedom in what you can do and become, and alliances that you can craft, and that's kind of my dream Star Wars game, Nick. Red Dead Redemption, sure, that's one of my favorite, if not my favorite, single player games of all time. The second one, because I haven't beaten the first one, but I often go to Skyrim or Fallout as examples of the type of Star Wars game that is just my dream, you know. Red Dead. Oh, nice. Yeah, Nick says Red Dead Redemption 2 is my favorite video game of all time. It might be mine too. I usually categorize my favorite games in two different categories: multiplayer and single player. When it comes to single player, I think Red Dead Redemption 2 is my favorite game of all time. It took me a long time to beat it. I got it. I don't even know what year it was. Golly, it might have been 2018. When did it come out? When did it come out? 2018. So I think I got it in 2019. And I played it on and off, and I just beat it back in June. I beat it back in June of this year. So like 3 years on and off playing it. I would go into spurts. I'd go into spurts where I'd play it for like 2 weeks straight, nonstop, and then I'd put it down for a month or two, you know. But I actually got COVID in June, and I isolated from my family. They ended up getting it anyway, so it was stupid. I isolated for 5 days, and on the 5th day, my wife tested positive. So it was like completely pointless that I isolated. But on the bright side, I had my Xbox in the bedroom, and I played Red Dead Redemption 2 until I beat it for 5 days straight. I played it for like 10 hours a day. I love that game, Nick. It's so good. I actually, as soon as I beat the game, I ordered the first one on the Xbox, and I played a little bit of it, maybe 4 or 5 hours, and I need to go through it for sure. But anyway, I appreciate that, man. All right, Oscar and Minato, thank you guys so much for the final super chats before I got a jet. Oscar says, I showed my nephews the original versions of the original trilogy. Unfortunately, they did not like it. Hey, man, you know, it's that's all right, you know. Sorry, I was taking a sip. That's all right, you know. I often wonder if some of the things that I love would be loved by modern eyes, younger eyes these days, who have access to like the most ridiculous content that you can find, you know. Would a kid nowadays, would a young like 7-year-old like I was or whatever. I mean, I saw the original trilogy when I was probably 3. I don't have a memory of me first watching it. It's just always been there. But with like a 7-year-old nowadays who just watches like Avengers and like big shit like that, would they watch A New Hope and even recognize it as something great? I don't know. And it's okay that they didn't care for it. That's all right, you know. Yeah, that's all right. You know, not everybody's gonna love it. Everybody's different. The times are different. I get that. I do think it's timeless, though. Sure, some of the effects they might think are goofy, but I think overall the story is pretty timeless. But yeah, maybe show them the prequels. Maybe they'll love the prequels if they haven't seen them. Show them the sequels. Maybe they'll love the sequels if they haven't seen them already, you know. And if you showed them the original versions, when they had already seen the more modern versions, then maybe that's just them, you know, already loving what they love and seeing the versions that they grew up with and not really caring for what came before. And I get that too, you know. But yeah. Anyway, Oscar, keep trying, I guess. I appreciate that, man. Hope you're doing well. And Minato Namikaze, thank you so much for the final super chat and channel support of this stream. Minato says, do you think Iger will finally get Disney Plus profitable, or will we see budgets and quality cut on upcoming shows? Is Disney Plus not profitable? For real? Disney Plus profitability? That the company's still expecting to become profitable with losses peaking in the most recent quarter. Still, he acknowledged that. Really? He acknowledged that inflation and a feared recession could derail Disney's timeline for streaming profitability. That's surprising to me. That's the first I've heard of that. Interesting. I highly doubt we'll see budgets and quality cut. Maybe we will. Now that I have this knowledge, I wasn't familiar with that. I don't really follow things like this, but streaming loses 1.5 billion. What? I would like to think that they would continue putting out high quality stuff. Because if you stop that quality, you're kind of guaranteed to not have profitability. You know, I don't know. They have profitability in so many other sectors of their company. And I'm sure these are separate entities financially. But, yeah, you can't reduce quality. Because then you won't have... you won't appeal to... Oh, one sec.
Get over how phenomenal Andor was. I forgot all about Bob from Kenobi a few days after their finales. Andor might just be my favorite piece of SW content ever, and, like you, I'm less excited for Mando S3.
Darth, thank you so much, man. Yeah, so it's interesting. I don't really have much of a desire to watch a lot of stuff on Disney Plus, now that I think about it. But that's the same with all streaming services. But it's especially true with Disney Plus. Like, I'm not into Marvel. I could give a shit about Marvel stuff. You know, Star Wars animated stuff, even Tales of the Jedi, I haven't watched yet. Bad Batch, I didn't watch. Like, I don't really watch a lot of that stuff. My daughter's not really old enough to sit there and watch a full movie yet. She's 4.5, and her attention span is that of I don't know, a puppy. She just doesn't. She does not want to sit down and watch an 1.5 hour long movie. So we don't really watch much on Disney Plus, other than, you know, Star Wars show that might be coming out, or she loves Bluey, which is on Disney. So yeah, for me, if it wasn't for my daughter, I probably and new Star Wars shows coming out, I probably wouldn't sign up for it. That's just me, though. But that's very similar to other Star Wars or other streaming services too, you know. Netflix, I don't know what I watch on Netflix. I don't even know if it's worth me having Netflix because I don't really watch much on there. We get HBO Max for free because my dad is the CEO of HBO. I'm just kidding. We get HBO for free because we get it through AT&T. Like, we have AT&T phone service and internet, so they give us HBO for free, which is kind of cool. We have Hulu just because we have Hulu Live TV, and that's it. That's all we got. Yeah, interesting. I'm gonna have to read some articles about that, Minato. And Darth Nicholas, thank you so much for coming in with the final super chat and channel support of the stream. I appreciate the generosity tonight, man. Nick said, one sec. Nick's, let me close that out. Nick says, last super chat, still can't get over how phenomenal Andor was. I forgot all about the Book of Boba Fett and Kenobi a few days after their finales. Andor might just be my favorite piece of Star Wars content ever, and like you, I'm less excited for Mando Season 3. Yeah, it's still mind-blowing to me that we have something of this quality in the world of Star Wars. Because as I've said before, a lot of recent stuff, and stuff in the past, before it doesn't even acquire the franchise, felt very similar to other stuff, and it didn't really hit me the way I was hoping it would, and it just kind of felt like, I don't know, Kenobi, especially Kenobi in the Book of Boba Fett, like, as you said, you forgot about them after their finales, and I did too. I barely remember those shows. I watched them, but I barely remember them, just because they didn't really appeal to me. They didn't really hit me as I was hoping they would. Andor, on the other hand, feels tailor-made to my vision of what Star Wars could be. It's a drama, and I love it for that. I love it so much for that. And it's weird. It's hard for me to wrap my head around the fact that we have it, and that it's so damn good, and that it was a show that I was just kind of iffy about, and I wasn't really that excited for. But when it first aired, from the moment it started to the end, I was hooked. I just felt that, oh, this is different. This is drama. This is of a higher quality, dialogue-wise, cinematography-wise, drama-wise, than anything else that's come before. And it just instantly appealed to me. And as you said, it's your favorite. It might be your favorite piece of Star Wars. Dude, I'm kind of with you. It might be my favorite piece of Star Wars as well. You know, my all-time favorite Star Wars thing is A New Hope. I don't know if that'll ever get knocked off the mantle, but Andor kind of comes close, man. Andor kind of comes close. And we'll just have to see how the series continues. And when it's all over, it might knock the A New Hope trophy off the first place rack. You know, it might. I don't know. But yeah, Nick, cheers, man. I'm excited for Mando Season 3, but Andor has set the bar so high for me as to what a Star Wars show can be, what Star Wars storytelling can be, that I'm kind of worried that everything in the future that gets made isn't going to hold a candle to Andor, and that I'm going to recognize that, and I'm going to be bummed out by that, you know? But yeah. Yeah, it's way better than Rogue One. I would agree, Darth. But, yeah, all right, guys, I got to go. I got to wake up and, well, shit, at this rate, I'm going to get 5 hours of sleep. That's all right. I'm used to it. I average, like, when at work, I average, like, 3.5, 4, I'd say 4 hours of sleep a night when I'm at work. Which, hey, that's fine. I function. I just yawn a lot during the day. My wife says I'm a dramatic yawner. I go, this is how I yawn. I go, oh, shit. That's how I yawn every time. I'm a dramatic yawner. Anyway, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for watching some Battlefront. Gameplay if you tuned in at the beginning of the stream. But yeah, watch my latest video. I uploaded a video today. It's just me kind of thinking out loud. I don't know what else I have coming on the channel. We'll see. But cheers, man. I appreciate everybody's support tonight. Darth Nicholas, Monado, Oscar, Matt, Arlen, the Pinkman, A3, Caretaker, 6 Foot, Pasta Water, Swish. I appreciate it, guys. All right, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your morning, your afternoon, your evening, wherever you are on planet Earth. And I will catch you all on the flip side. Cool? Cool. All right. See ya.